Okay guys, welcome to the timeline of Phoenix Suns channel. Today we're talking about how Kelly Oubre has transformed the Phoenix Suns. My name is Mike and I'm here with Sam. Sam, say hi.
Hi guys.
Let's talk about Kelly Oubre Jr.
In 12 games as a starter so far, Kelly Oubre is averaging 20 points, 5 rebounds, 2 steals, and a block per game on 47, 34, 75 shooting splits.
The Suns are 6-6 in those games, including wins over Golden State and Milwaukee, and close losses to Portland and Houston, which is a lot better than the 11-48 they were before that. The Suns acquired Kelly Oubre Jr. in a trade that sent out Trevor Ariza, so let's look at what the team was like before that. So how did you feel about Trevor Ariza on the Suns, Sam?
Yeah, unfortunately he wasn't great. And look, here's the thing. I'll defend Ariza a little bit. He wasn't purely awful. He wasn't completely terrible as a guy that you just wanted to come in and shoot threes and play a little bit of defense. Trevor Ariza on the Suns, he shot 36% from three-point range, and he averaged a steal and a half per game. So I could see from an outside perspective how just looking at that, you might think that he was actually decent. But the effort just wasn't there. I mean, Mike, what did you think of Trevor Ariza's effort on the Suns?
I think he looked like an old guy who didn't want to try on a team with a bunch of kids. And I don't blame him. I think it's difficult to be on a team like that when you've been on some championship contenders in the past, but it wasn't fun to watch.
The Suns gave up 17 fast break points per game when Ariza was on the team.
Ugh.
And that ranked 30th in the league by far. Like, they were by far the worst team. They just weren't getting back on defense. And the problem is they were a young team, but they weren't getting fast break points for themselves on the other end. They were only averaging about 12 fast break points when Ariza was on the team on the other end. So a young athletic team giving up so many points in transition, not getting back on defense, it just was a terrible look. And it was a huge reason why they lost so many games.
I'd say Kelly Oubre has done a lot better so far. What I like about Kelly Oubre is that he's tall, he's long, and he's athletic. But at his size, he's still a really good ball handler. And where he excels on offense particularly is pick and roll attacking, spot up shooting, and coming off screens.
Yeah, the thing about Oubre is that he's not really like a Josh Jackson type, or at least he doesn't play as recklessly. He's really a guy that you can trust to attack, especially off the pick and roll, and not turn the ball over all that much. For reference, 20% of Oubre's offensive possessions this season are coming on the pick and roll, and he's scoring in the 74th percentile in the NBA on those plays, making him slightly more efficient than even a guy like Devin Booker. Spot-ups was the second area that we identified. Oubre is, I would say, more of an average spot-up shooter. He's not a great guy who's going to wow you with his three-point percentages, but he's still very solid in that regard, and he's scoring in the 56th percentile in efficiency on spot-ups. And then the final thing is the Suns really like to create plays for Oubre curling off screens. He's not a Klay Thompson, a JJ Redick type. He's not this elite catch and shoot guy where he can come off a screen and immediately rise up for the shot. What he can do is you can give him screens to curl around, give him a mismatch and just enough space that he can attack the rim immediately after. It only makes up 6% of Oubre's offense, but he's scoring in the 82nd percentile on those off-screen plays, making him one of the elite guys in that range. And one of the bread and butter moves for Kelly Oubre is to just give him a little bit of space. He loves to drive left.
You know, coaches used to talk a lot about intangibles, and a lot of times when they talked about intangibles, what they were talking about is like deflections and ball recovery, and that's actually stuff that you can measure now. But what you can't measure is swagger, and he's also brought a lot of swagger to this team. But we should still talk about his defense. He's been a pretty good defender so far.
Yeah, he has his moments, tiny little lapses on defense. For the most part, Kelly Oubre has been really good. Especially when the Suns are close in games, he really likes to lock in on defense. We said before, averaging 2 steals and 1 block as a starter, but he's really a guy who knows how to use his length. And in Igor Kokoshkov's defensive scheme, and with the team the Suns have assembled right now, this is a team that really likes to play the passing lanes. They've been leading the NBA in deflections all season long, and with guys like Josh Jackson, Mikal Bridges, DeAnthony Melton, and now Kelly Oubre, they're constantly getting after it on defense, just playing like dogs out there with a lot of intensity and going for steals, which leads to easy fast break points on the other end. Oubre's just excelled at that all season long.
So efficient offense and intense defense has made him a really good match with Booker and Ayton, the two most important players on the team. A three-man lineup of Booker, Ayton, and Oubre boasts a plus 2.3 net rating in 436 minutes. And this is huge because this team gets killed a lot. For example, Booker, Ayton, and Bridges, another great player, another good player as far as net rating, is still a negative 3.9. Booker, Ayton, and Warren is negative 9.8. And Booker, Ayton, and Jackson is negative 3.9. So of all of those guys, Oubre seems to be the best fit with the two most important players with the Phoenix Suns.
A lot of people would say that maybe going forward, Mikal Bridges is going to be the best fit with those two guys with his 3-and-D potential. But the truth is that as a rookie, we just haven't seen enough offense out of Bridges yet. So Oubre right now is really striking a great balance out of all four of these guys between his offense and his defense. Josh Jackson remains inconsistent, and as good of a player as TJ Warren is, scoring 18 points per game, 4 rebounds, and a good 3-point shooter, the question has always been, how can you keep 3 questionable defenders like that on the floor at the same time?
And even with all that swagger, he's still not perfect. Kelly Oubre can shoot, but he's not a shooter. His shot is still inconsistent. Currently, he's shooting 34% from the three-point line and only 31% from catch and shoot, which is not great, even though he's still a relatively efficient player.
The other problem we can talk about with Kelly Oubre is the one that we talk about with TJ Warren all the time, a serious case of tunnel vision. He's averaging just 1.6 assists per 36 minutes this season, and you can find plenty of examples of plays where he drives into 2 or 3 defenders when he probably should have hit an open man in the corner or on the wing. And while Kelly has been a lot better on defense since he was traded to Phoenix, the truth is that he still does take plays off from time to time. And there's a reason that you can see what Washington fans were saying about him, which is that he was so inconsistent on that end, still sort of rings true. While Kelly can be a lockdown defender in some critical moments, there's question of whether he can do that on a consistent basis in the way that a lot of Suns fans believe a guy like Mikal Bridges can going forward.
I'm sure the Suns culture will fix all of his defensive problems, right?
Yeah, of course. We have a great track record with development.
So how much do you think Kelly Oubre Jr. will make in free agency?
That's a really hard question, and I don't think anybody is really going to know until this summer. If you look at recent history and what that tells us about fourth-year small forwards coming into free agency, there are a lot of guys who got serious paydays. You can look at guys like Otto Porter, Harrison Barnes, Kent Bazemore, Chandler Parsons, and the truth is most of these contracts aren't working out so well for those teams right now, but a lot of those players were playing about as well as Kelly Oubre is right now. So the fear is, with Kelly Oubre being a restricted free agent, there may be some team out there willing to throw him a poison pill contract offer this summer for who knows, maybe as many as $16, $18, $20 million.
The problem is, this summer, there are a lot of teams with max cap space and not a lot of max players, and that means there's going to be a lot of teams with a bunch of money burning a hole in their pocket, and they're going to need to pay someone. So for Suns fans, we're just going to hope that it's not Kelly Oubre. Although we do own his rights in restricted free agency, and we do have the option to match no matter who offers him the money.
Don't get us wrong, as Suns fans, we would absolutely love to keep Kelly Oubre around for $12 to $14 million a year, given how much of a culture change this guy has brought over the past few dozen games. But the truth is, with as well as he's playing right now, his value might just be rising to a lot more than that.
So this will be something we'll keep track of here on the YouTube channel and of course on our podcast. So stick with us if you want to see the end of this story.